This week on Charger Bulletin News, breaking news regarding university professor, the impact of Hurricane Fiona and Ian. Check out the Hazell Nut Cafe, right here on Charger Bulletin News. Hello, and welcome back to the Charger Bulletin News. My name is Matthew Maurison.
And my name is Matt Hall. Before we dive into this week's story, we bring you some breaking news with Jada Mirabel.
Before we continue with our normally scheduled program, we bring to you a breaking news segment. University adjunct professor David Rucastle, 59, was arrested in Greenwich, Connecticut last Friday and was charged with criminal attempt at risk of injury to a minor and criminal attempt at enticing a minor by computer. Greenwich police went undercover in online virtual chat rooms disguised as a 14-year-old girl during this. The undercover officer had a conversation with Rucastle. According to Greenwich Police Captain Mark Zuccarella, the undercover officer and Rucastle engaged in conversations which ended up alleging that, quote, the suspect wants to have intercourse with the child and then eventually set up a meeting point, end quote. When the suspect arrived, police officers were waiting to make the arrest. Rucastle has been an adjunct professor at the University of New Haven since 2018. He is also an adjunct professor at New York University. The University of New Haven was asked to make a statement regarding the situation. A spokesperson spoke on behalf of the university, stating, the university immediately suspended him pending an investigation. As this is an active investigation being led by the Greenwich Police Department, the university will have no further comment at this time. The investigation is still undergoing. Keep an eye out online for future information. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Hurricane Fiona is a Category 3 storm that hit the countries of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Bermuda, and multiple other islands. Thousands of people are either involved or impacted from this storm, leaving communities within these countries destroyed or underwater. President Biden spoke on behalf of the United States, saying, "We will be with the folks of Puerto Rico now and until this is done and until we recover." This past Tuesday, the Myatt Center for Diversity and Inclusion hosted a hurricane relief cafecito event to discuss the impact of Hurricane Fiona on Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and on affected students. Professors and students came together to offer support to those affected, whether they are from, have family in, or are otherwise affected by the storms hitting Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. If you have any questions or are looking for support, the Myatt Center, the Dean of Students Office, and the Office of Residential Life are available for information and support. Hurricane Ian, which hit the coast of Florida this past week, is labeled a Category 4 hurricane, with some calling this a life-changing storm. Professionals inform the public that the storm is nearing what would be considered a Category 5 storm. Residents of Florida have been tragically impacted by the storm, with again, thousands of people being impacted. We extend our support to our southern states and territories. If you or someone you know is being impacted by either hurricane, counseling and psychological services are available. You can contact them at their number, 203-932-7333.
In light of recent security concerns, the campus police department has launched a new addition to security for students in the form of mobile safety escorts. On Monday, the new effort kicked off with hours of service running from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. This service utilizes 6-seater golf carts and are marked Public Safety Student Transportation. The service has 4 designated pickup locations: the Maxey Hall main entrance, the Library Shuttle Stop, the Forest Hill Shuttle Stop, and the North Campus Shuttle Stop. The safety escorts are also authorized to pick up pedestrian students if they should need the service. Students can contact the University Police Department for this service via the Live Safe app to notify campus police that they are at one of the designated pickup locations. Now to Sadie Frazier-Reed with this week's entertainment.
Thanks, guys. On Friday, September 23rd, Don't Worry Darling, a highly anticipated film directed by Olivia Wilde and starring Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, was released into theaters. With the controversy between the cast and crew of this movie going around the internet, it was expected that there would be many reviews, both positive and negative, rolling in after the release of the film. Opening weekend debuted with 19.2 million in ticket sales, the top movie in the box office this weekend. At the time of recording, the film has a 6.5 out of 10 rating on IMDb and a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Those reviews won't stop fans of the stars from flooding to the theaters to see their favorites on the big screen. On Sunday, the finale night of Big Brother Season 24 premiered on CBS, and history was made. The final 3 contestants this season were Matthew Turner, Monty Taylor, and Taylor Hale. For the first time in 24 seasons, Taylor Hale was crowned the winner, being the first Black woman to do so on the show. In addition, for the first time in Big Brother history, Taylor took home the title of winner as well as America's favorite house guest, becoming the first player to ever do this on the show. Season 25 of Big Brother has now been confirmed and is set to premiere on CBS next summer. Netflix hosted their second ever Tadum event this past weekend, announcing many new original projects that will arrive to the streaming platform in the coming year. Announcements include Enola Holmes 2, Season 2 of the Heartbreaker series, The School for Good and Evil, Wednesday, Season 3 of both Bridgerton and Never Have I Ever, Season 4 of You, Manifest, Sex Education, and many more. Fans have expressed their excitement for both new and returning projects. That's all for entertainment. I'm Sadie Frazier-Reed. Now, back to the studio with Justin Coviello for Student Life.
This past Thursday, September 29th, the Brothers of Sigma Alpha Epsilon and the Center for Student Engagement, Leadership, and Orientation collaborated to host another iteration of Twisted Thursday. Held in the Bixler Gerber Quad, the entertainment included music, plenty of long games to be played, as well as a raffle for all undergraduate students in attendance to potentially win a basket of gift cards and some university merchandise. If you weren't able to make it this time, be on the lookout on Charger Connection for future events from these organizations. Our University of New Haven Miss Majorettes will be hosting tryouts on Friday, September 30th and Saturday, October 1st from 2 to 5 p.m. Tryouts will be held in Studio 204 in the Beckerman Recreation Center. The Miss Majorettes are an all-inclusive minority dance organization which showcase HBCU majorette-style dancing onto our campus and are a huge proponent of diversity while also showing a refreshing style of dance. If you have any inquiries, don't hesitate to email them at missmajorettes@newhaven.edu or on Instagram at UNH_majorettes. Coming up on Sunday, October 2nd, Scope is offering a trip for all undergraduate students to attend the beginning of Fright Fest at Six Flags New England. Students should show up to the Maxi bus stop by 2:30 p.m. for departure and will be at the park until 9 p.m. Fright Fest is an annual October celebration held in Six Flags where the thrills are heightened by a spookified park and creepy characters that walk around and interact with ride-goers. RSVPs opened up on Wednesday, September 28th. If the queue fills up, you can be put on a wait list. For any questions, feel free to contact Scope at their email, scope@newhaven.edu, or on Instagram at newhavenscope. And now, to sports with Lindsay, the copy desk chief of the Charger Bulletin. What happened this week?
Thanks, Justin. This week has been a roller coaster for Charger athletics. Women's soccer and volleyball are coming out of win streaks. The women's soccer team dropped what would have been their third win to Southern Connecticut State University on Tuesday in a 1-2 decision. Madison Blonde once again scored for the Chargers, hitting the net within the first 15 minutes of the game, but the Owls were able to equalize in the 64th minute, with the game-winning goal coming only 4 minutes later. Next week, the women's soccer team will return home to host Le Moyne at Kathy Zolad Stadium on Saturday at 1 to 4 p.m. The team will honor their senior class members ahead of kickoff. Volleyball dropped what would have been their 5th consecutive win to Southern New Hampshire in a 1-3 loss to the Penmen, the first time the Penmen have won against the Chargers in nearly a decade. The Chargers led in the first set, but the Penmen dominated the next 3 sets of the game, bringing home the historic win for SNHU. Women's volleyball hits the road for the next game on Saturday against the American International Yellow Jackets in Springfield, Massachusetts. Coming out of a loss streak is women's field hockey, who brought home a win while on the road at St. Michael's last Saturday in a close 1-0 game. The Chargers brought more energy against Pace this past Tuesday, hosting them at Della Camera Stadium for a pride match. The Chargers and the Purple Knights were tied through the first 2 quarters, both teams scoring a point in the second. The Chargers pulled ahead, scoring twice in the third quarter and again early in the fourth. The Chargers got comfortable, however, and let their guard down, allowing the Purple Knights to hit the back of the net twice in the fourth quarter. The Chargers fought hard in the remaining 40 seconds of the game, desperate to maintain their 1-point lead and prevent an overtime period. The Chargers succeeded and walked away with a 4-3 win. Field hockey returns on Saturday to host Franklin Pierce for a Title IX game at 1 p.m. In men's sports, the men's soccer team went head-to-head with Franklin Pierce this past Saturday, but unfortunately left the field with a shutout loss of 0-4. The Franklin Pierce men's soccer team is ranked number 2 nationally. The Chargers returned home on Wednesday to host St. Rose at Kathy Zolad Stadium. By halftime, the Chargers were up 1-0, the single goal scored by midfielder Adam Lindstrom on a penalty kick, but the game was just starting to heat up. Early in the second half, the Chargers scored again, followed by a third goal just 2 minutes later. Unfortunately, the Golden Knights closed the gap to 3-2 in favor of the Chargers with 28 minutes left in the game. The highly physical nature of Wednesday's game ended up costing the Chargers a win, as St. Rose closed the gap on another penalty kick with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, leaving the Chargers with their third tie game of the conference. Men's soccer will stay home for their next game to host Southern New Hampshire on Saturday at 4 p.m. Last but not least, Chargers football has continued to battle for their win streak, beating Bentley last Friday in a close 21-13 game. The Northeast 10 heavyweight teams had a tense back and forth, and the Chargers slipped offensively in the second half, but managed another 7 points to Bentley's 3 in the fourth quarter. Since this game was Friday night, the Chargers find themselves with an extra day to prepare ahead of another away game at St. Anselm in New Hampshire this Saturday. That's all for Charger Sports this week. Come support our teams at home this weekend or support our traveling teams by watching the live broadcasts on the Charger Sports Network. Back to you guys at the desk.
The Hazell Nut Cafe opens again for the fall semester. University hospitality students have opened up the Hazell Nut Cafe for the second time since the COVID-19 pandemic. The cafe is student-run and offers these students a chance at real-world experience in their selected fields. It is open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. from Monday through Friday. Order online at Grubhub or at the register inside the cafe located at the entrance of Maxey Hall. Dining dollars are not accepted. This past Saturday, local news station WFSB visited the cafe. Check out that story on the WFSB page. Go out and support your fellow students with enjoying a classic cup of joe.
On Thursday afternoon, the university's Meditation and Spirituality Center, located on the lower level of 15 Rudin Street, was rededicated. The facility is a designated space for students of all faiths and beliefs to use in whatever manner best reflects their religious or spiritual traditions and practices. The Meditation and Spirituality Center includes a multi-purpose room for services, quiet meditation, and reflection areas for all faith traditions and men's and women's Muslim prayer spaces. The facility is open daily from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and is accessible by scanning your student ID to enter the space. If you wish to use the space but do not have card access, you can request access by emailing the Dean of Students office at deanofstudents@newhaven.edu.
That's all the time we have for this week.
You can check out the latest Charger Bulletin newspaper on chargerbulletin.com or in newsstands around campus.
Stay up to date by following us on social media at Charger Bulletin.
Check out our link tree for access to our podcast Behind the Bulletin.
Until next week, stay safe and thank you for watching.